If you could live your life over again, would you live it differently? Now, there's a big question for a Sunday evening, isn't it? If somehow time travel was an option for you, you could go back in time, you could start again, choose differently, would you build a different kind of life? Friends, would you like to start over? Now, when I look out on a room like this, many of us in this room are so young, of course, that even that question is strange. There's no need to start over because we're just getting going. What is there possibly to regret? What is there to be nostalgic about or wistful about? Life is a highway and we're going to ride it. What could possibly go wrong? Others of us here this evening are taking stock, aren't we? Life seems to have dealt us a bad hand. We're here in a room like this, staring at the candles with the kind of memories in head and heart that we wish we didn't have. And others of us here this evening are bowed down with more cares than others in the room would ever believe we have. That idea of starting over, well, if we had £1 million in our bank account, we would swap it in a moment for a fresh start, for a clean slate, a blank canvas. But here's the thing, it cannot be done, right? Life is a concrete pour, yes? You get to do it once and it's gone. That's your shot, that's your time, that's your moment. I'm guessing this evening not many people in this room have ever heard of Kath Phipps. Kath Phipps is the receptionist at the football club Manchester United who died just this past week. And I learned this past week that Kath Phipps was a mother. She was like a mother to my generation of famous Manchester United players, David Beckham, Peter Schmeichel, Eric Cantona. They all adored Kath Phipps. There's something very beautifully touching about the incredibly famous describing their love for the totally unknown. This past week I've been reading all their stories and looking at all their pictures. David Beckham on his Instagram posted a very poignant photo of her old, frail hand in his tattooed hand, but holding her tight. Eric Cantona said, "Such a sad day for us all. It feels like the club we know and love has gone forever with her." Ah, friends, longing, sorrow. If only we could turn the clock back. Have you ever felt that? Have you ever had that feeling? What I had, what I loved, who I was, it's gone forever. This past year has been the year of Oasis getting back together, hasn't it? Something that people thought had gone forever. And funnily enough, Liam Gallagher in Oasis, Liam Gallagher's idol, although Liam Gallagher is a Manchester City fan, his idol is Eric Cantona, the Manchester United player. So much so is Cantona Liam Gallagher's idol that he wrote a song about him. If you paid £2 million or whatever it was for a ticket, if you were lucky enough to get one for next year, when you go to hear Oasis play, you will probably hear the song that Liam Gallagher wrote about Eric Cantona. I remember how you used to shine back then. You went down so easy like a glass of wine, my friend. When the dawn came up, you felt so inspired to do it again, but it turns out you only get to do it once. You only get to do it once. So if you could do it again a different way, friends, would you do it a new way, a different way? I want this evening, in these very brief moments that we have together, I want to introduce you to two different people. One of them I think you know well, Mary, the mother of Jesus Christ. Mary has been there in both of our readings so far. I want to introduce you to Mary as the woman who learned what God can do. In just a moment, I'm going to introduce you to Simeon, a man who saw, who learned what God is like. But friends, here is what Mary learned at Christmas. It's what I want us to learn this evening. Here is the message of Christmas in a nutshell. Nothing is impossible with God. Nothing is impossible with God. That is what Mary learned. Wouldn't you like to live in a world where nothing was impossible? I think we all would love to live in that world, wouldn't we? I guess it's why we love Christmas just so much, especially the younger folks in our midst. Christmas is a time where the impossibly magical seems to come right into the ordinary world in which we live. It's a time when reindeer fly through the air and land silently on your rooftop. It's a time when magic dust is sprinkled over our homes and houses. We wake in the morning to gifts and presents. Santa travels through the night, and somehow stockings are filled and presents appear. It's why the nostalgia is so deep and rich, isn't it, at this time of year? The music, the lights, the food. I wonder if even the most hardened Christmas-hating person feels a tinge of longing for those days when you really did wish the impossible was possible. What we have had read to us this evening in those two readings, the angel says to Mary, nothing is impossible with God. Friends, that is the great claim of Christmas. It's what Christians believe Christmas means, the virgin birth of Jesus Christ, his generation in the womb of his human mother without the activity of a human father is nothing short of stupendously impossible, isn't it? It is a miracle. The virgin birth of Jesus, his generation in the womb of a human mother without the activity of a human father. That is an event that is not normal or natural. I want to say to you, friends, if a Christian friend has brought you along this evening and you're hearing me say this, you're hearing it in the reading, you're singing about it, I want to say to you as clearly as I can, friends, we are not here to play let's pretend this evening. Christian people today know just as well what Mary knew in her day, that virgins do not give birth to babies. That this is spectacular, this is fully out of the ordinary, and yet here we are this evening over 2,000 years later, still singing, still adoring, still wondering that Jesus Christ was born of a virgin. And so here's the thing, here's the question, let me ask you, let me put to you the question you might be asking. How on earth can modern, sane, rational people ever believe such a thing? How? That a virgin could give birth to a baby? Well, friends, here's how. Think of it this way. You have to choose your miracle. You have to choose your miracle. If the idea that a baby could arrive without active parental agents, if that is implausible to you this evening, then I want to invite you to keep extrapolating back all the way to the beginning of everything and to ask where the something came from that somehow led to everything. See, you can either believe in the virgin birth of Jesus, or you have to believe in the virgin birth of the universe. However you believe the universe began, maybe a big bang billions of years ago, however you think it got there, forget the time issue and ask about the how issue. Where did the matter come from that led to that collision, that led to our universe? It's one of the biggest philosophical questions that there is. Why is there something rather than nothing? How is there something rather than nothing? And like many of us here this evening are scientists, if you operate with a scientist's brain, you will know that science tells us how stuff behaves, but it doesn't tell us why there is stuff in the first place. How did matter get there to do its exploding thing? You see, the message of Christmas, friends, is not nothing is impossible, end of story. Pigs can fly, the moon is made of cheese, and so on. Nothing is impossible. No, that is not what Christian people believe. Rather, nothing is impossible. Did you catch the angel's words to Mary as it was read for us? Nothing is impossible with God. Nothing is impossible with God. There's the difference. If it is possible that there is an almighty, eternal creator God who made everything, who made the matter in the first place, who put it there so that it could collide and so that neurons could fire, and if there is a God who made something rather than nothing in the first place, then I believe the stuff that he made is his to do with what he pleases. Mary learned that God can do what no one else can do. And so, friends, here is why Christmas is so amazing, so wonderful. Here is the most impossible thing that has become possible. In Jesus, God has put someone new into our world. There is a king whose kingdom will never end. In Jesus, God has put someone new, brand new, into our world. You will be with child and give birth to a son, and you are to give him the name Jesus. In other words, he will be a normal human male, born in a natural way, born in an ordinary home, in an ordinary time, living an ordinary, usual life, and yet at the same time, he will be great and will be called the Son of the Most High. The Lord God will give him the throne of his father David, and his kingdom will never end. His kingdom will never end. Queen Victoria, King George, Queen Elizabeth, love or loathe the monarchy, they are dead, aren't they? Their reigns are over, they have ended, they have been and gone. They only got to do it once. You and I only get to do it once, but Jesus' kingdom will never end. Oh, friends, this evening, here is the wonder of Christmas, that into this world, where you and I would give anything to go back to the beginning, to make the right choices, to take the right steps, to not harm or wrong or tarnish or damage the people that we have harmed and tarnished and damaged. Into that world, God has put someone new. He's put someone in our world who is the only true fresh start there will ever be. A child born of a woman so that he is like us, one of us. A child born of God so that he is unlike us. Jesus Christ entered our world as a new beginning. He arrives and remained and lived and died, untainted, untarnished, unbroken, unfallen. His arrival in our midst is a new beginning. And because he came, and because he is real, everything is different. Everything is different.